give up my seat to the next person. Good morning, everybody. Bob Volkoon. I wanted to fill you in on the 911 board system and what's going on there as far as the concerns and everything on the radio waves. I've talked to both companies, and our big concern now is of course, the Salt Creek project, because they're the ones that are building and everything, and want to make sure that everything is good and not going to cause any problems. The last time they checked radio frequencies and everything was in March, and then I talked to Bob the other day, and they wanted to double check those again. They do that quite frequently, and to make sure that any new towers or any other new frequencies or anything like that that are coming in, that the turbine that they may put up would not affect that.
How can they check the frequencies if they don't know the height of the turbines that are being put up?
You have to ask them all those technical questions. Okay, they can answer those a lot better than I can. What we are assured is that they are checking on their models where that turbine would go, and I would almost assume that they're going to know how high it is, and they plug that in and they know if that turbine can go there without blocking anything or causing a problem. If it were to cause a problem, then they have to fix it, and that's all in the paperwork and their contract.
And
as
they,
far as that,
they is the
paperwork and so on.
developer?
Pardon me?
They is, who is they?
The Salt Creek developers, and then the other one that they're looking at is Apex on the new one. Right now, I know the big concern is the Salt Creek, because they're the ones who are constructing right now. So, any questions and stuff or copies of paperwork that show how they take care of it should be directed to them. They're the ones that are going to be able to answer the questions fully and give you the best answers.
So who enforces that they do abide by that? Because I mean, you know that you say they need to take care of it, but who would enforce that if somebody has a complaint about the radio waves?
Well, that's up to that depends on how the ordinance is and everything there.
Well, our ordinances don't currently have enforcement anywhere, so.
I haven't looked at
enforce
that.
it?
I haven't looked at that. All I can tell you is what, where it's at now, what they can do. And that's definitely a good question. And, you know, make sure it gets worked out. Everybody should work together to make sure that is worked out. It's, in a way, kind of like the COVID thing too. You know, we were supposed to go, well, people got more than 10 people there, we're supposed to stop and cite them, you know, and that kind of thing. Well, you know, it's all got to be in writing and set up. So there'll be a list of laws and rules and regulations and who's supposed to enforce them. I mean, that would all be in writing. And how that stands now, I can't tell you. I haven't looked at it. I don't know.
So you're speaking as a member of the 911?
I'm just giving you the information as a member of the 911 board, the information that I had gotten, that they assured that is going to be taken care of.
And when is?
We are all concerned about it. We're all concerned about it. I mean, we questioned it right away to make sure that it was.
They just sent you this so you didn't have a meeting lately.
Oh, not a full board meeting with
Okay.
them. No,
Okay.
they're more than happy to come to any of our board meetings, talk to anybody. They're more than happy to answer anybody's questions. They tell me, you know, let the people know to call them, contact them, ask them the questions. They can answer them better than I can. I mean, it'd be like asking me about brain surgery. You need to talk to the doctor because I probably can't answer you very well. But yeah, we want to make sure that that's all taken care of in the proper manner and that it's not going to jeopardize any safety. And I don't know how I mean, I was told too at first that, well, they're just gonna put them up and see what happens. And I was like, no, that can't be right. So of course I'm making calls too and talking to people and checking. And that's how it is. They're going to take care of it. Any of these companies should be able to tell you how, and maybe even show you how they put the models in and make sure that nothing's going to affect something else. You know, they put it in for setbacks and ordinances and everything else. And like I had said before, sometimes people that may want one, they may not be able to get one because of how the ordinance is or the rules or the setbacks or something like that. So I think everybody can work together and by all means ask the questions. I mean, they're important questions. And I mean, And I'll be the first to tell you, I don't necessarily agree with everything that may be in an ordinance, or what rules companies may have, or what information they may not be able to give out, but we can all discuss it and talk about it and get her taken care of. So, I mean, a lot of you have very good points and very good concerns, and I mean, I appreciate that. We may not all agree, but we can certainly all get along. We can all get her taken care of. So, okay, anybody can call me anytime. Anybody can call any of the companies anytime. If you're having problems and they won't answer your questions, I don't know what to tell you, but I mean, I'll always answer the best I can and try to refer you to the people, but if they won't talk to you, which I doubt would be the case, but we'll do the best we can.
I just got a comment related to hers. Okay, who is going to oversee it? It has to be somebody. You guys, there's rules, there's laws. If the cops weren't around to enforce the laws, what would happen?
It all depends on how it's written in the ordinance, and I don't know how that's written. If there's been anything written yet, or how they plan on doing it, on who's
But
enforcing it.
something needs to be updated, so someone is overseeing. You can't expect these big companies just to abide by everything.
Well, they will have in there somewhere along the line how it will be enforced.
Yeah, but it needs
And what's
to be
going
done.
to, I don't know,
we can't
like I say,
assume.
I don't know where it's at right now, and that's something that you have to talk to somebody else
You
about.
can't assume, because I've learned in life, you can't assume things. You gotta have
That's
things.
correct.
But we've been told by the board that they're not planning to update our ordinances, and our ordinances don't currently have anything about enforcement, so how would we be updating that?
You gotta talk to somebody else besides me. I
So
can't.
who would that else be? Who would the else be that we talk to if it's not our board of supervisors?
Well, right now, because of the fact that attorneys got involved, which makes everything very serious. As soon as somebody talks about a lawsuit or attorneys, then people aren't supposed to talk.
Oh,
That makes it real
Yep,
bad.
that was Salt Creek then that started that, wasn't it?
I have no idea.
And
It
we
was.
tried to come talk, and they wouldn't listen then.
But there again, you're asking me questions that I can't answer. I wish, if it was me, I'd make it real simple. Hey, forget about the attorneys and stuff, and everybody talk and get along, get taken care of, but that's not how the world operates, unfortunately, so.
I'm sure you understand that, if we're gonna rely on the developers to, enforce, that's kinda like having the fox watch the hen house.
No, I'm not saying have the
And
developers.
rely on them. They've lied to us, Bob. You've gotta understand our side of it. We've been lied to. They haven't been truthful to us. They've told us what's not. It's just not a good situation.
So the enforcement's kinda like the Iowa code. It'll tell you who's going to enforce it, how it's going to be enforced.
So relying on developers to, take, tests when a tower hasn't been up, when we don't even know the size or the height of the tower, I find it a little difficult that they're actually doing, tests on that.
Well, it's best if you call them and ask them how they do it, cause I can't explain how they do it all.
There's federal regulations for that.
They-
It's not optional. There are federal regulations for that, for interfering with, 911, all of that. So it's in their contract. If you look at, not their contract, it's in their, plan. It's their responsibility to make sure that they don't interfere.
Mhm.
So there are federal regulations that we have no control over even here.
But you do have control over the Tama County ordinance that is incredibly gray.
It has nothing to do with the ordinance. This
It
has
is,
to do with-
enforcement is in the ordinance in responsible
No.
county
No.
regulations, and Tama County's regulations have not dealt with enforcement or compliance or a citizen complaint process as we have suggested to you multiple times, and that's why we as citizens are continuing to ask for updates to that ordinance. Yes, the federal regulations deal with the FAA and lighting of towers, and there are federal regulations, but things that we are asking for Tama County to do are clearly in the control of Tama County, yet Tama County's Board of Supervisors chooses not to update a 24-year-old ordinance, an ordinance that was last adopted in 2012 and was railroaded through again on May 16th. That's the issue. These things are clearly in the control of Tama County government officials, and Tama County chooses to take no action despite the public outcry for change.
questions